thing that I'm not sure I love so much right now about this documentary. Like I'm fascinated by it. I love seeing Jordan in this relaxed, comfortable, sitting back kind of way, drink in his hand, cursing nonstop. I mean, I love what I think is natural Jordan. But what I've come to feel is that it's a Michael Jordan production. You know, if you were to look at the end of the show and they tell you who the producers, executive producers are, if you just freeze frame and then Google these people, they all work directly for Michael. You know, I mean, this is all about his brand. And I think it's interesting the way they're telling his story, but it's Michael Jordan telling his story the way he wants it told. It's not necessarily like some outside documentarian telling this story with a kind of a journalistic eye on it.
What would you want to hear?
Well, I think the part about the dad, I think is really interesting. You know, I think that most of us we have this perception that Jordan's gambling got so ridiculous that his father may have been murdered in connection with that somehow. And I don't know if it's true or false. It's just a perception. There seems to be a lot of people reporting about like details that were not provided about where the car was found, where the body was found. I guess I guess what I'm saying is you're just
every negative thing that there ever was about Jordan has been addressed. And
10 times.
But in this documentary, what Scott's saying is everyone has been addressed, but every piece of this documentary has made it look like it was all total bullshit. And it's made Jordan look like, no, that's bullshit. And then it makes him look better.
Well, I think the story that he's telling, he's the guy telling the story. Here, I'll give you one more example. So I didn't know this, and I don't know if it's true or kind of it's legend now or whatever, but when they lose to Orlando and then he goes out to Hollywood to shoot Space Jam, but he's singularly obsessed with getting back and can't wait to face Orlando again and wants to win the championship over and over and whatever. The story of he worked all day long, shooting, and then he was working out and playing ball all night long. Oh, and you know what he was doing? He was sizing up the competition. He was getting to know everybody's game in the offseason. Reggie Miller, I know what he does. And Juwan Howard, I know what he does. And so it's the story that Michael Jordan wants to tell. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, but I guess that's a true story though. Like that really happened. That's documented.
Which part?
The Space Jam part, because a lot of people wrote that Michael Jordan can't be serious about basketball if he's making Space Jam. Like at the time in Chicago, there are columns written about Michael Jordan's dedication to basketball because he's filming this movie when he should be getting ready for the upcoming NBA season. Like
I'm just saying. No, I'm not saying it's not real. Of course, it's real. I'm not knocking the film. I don't want to be kind of cornered that way. I'm just saying that what we're watching is the way Michael Jordan wants to tell this story, because everybody knows that Steve Kerr got punched in the face. Everybody who was there. Well, how does Michael want to present that? You know, and let me get Steve to talk about it. Let me get Judd to talk about it. And let me get Will Perdue to talk about it. And let me get Bill Wennington to talk about it. And it's his production. I mean,
before this whole came out, Jordan said he was going to look like an asshole. Has he looked like an asshole in this documentary?
I think so.
Or has it actually humanized his asshole parts?
No, I don't think so. I think he looks like an asshole.
I think. Go ahead, Alex. I'm sorry.
No, I just think that all his assholeness, he's trying to explain why he was that. Like that's literally the point of this documentary, in my opinion.
I think that this documentary
said.
I think this documentary has given people the opportunity to see what a person who will win at any cost is willing to do. And I think people don't understand that because now you can't have a person say the things that Michael Jordan said without apologizing.
I get that. I totally get that. But if Michael Jordan was not an asshole to Steve Kerr and everybody on his team, did they still not have Michael Jordan, the best player ever? Did they still not have Scottie Pippen, the perceived second best player of the era? Did they not have Phil Jackson? Would they not have made shots? Would Jordan not have scored 40 points if he wasn't an asshole?
But it wasn't Michael Jordan being an asshole wasn't about Michael Jordan. It was. But
they're making it seem like the reason they won 6 championships was because Jordan was an asshole to his teammates and was motivated by every single thing. Yeah, even if he wasn't, like I'm still thinking they're going to win championships.
I just see, and this is where I disagree, because the assholeness was to put the fear in people to raise your game as close to mine as you possibly can. Again, Michael Jordan's attitude or his perception wasn't for Michael Jordan. It was for Steve Kerr. It was for Scott Burrell. It was for Bill Winnington. It was for Luke Longley. It was for Ron Harper. It wasn't for Michael Jordan. He already had it in him. Scottie Pippen already had it in him. These other guys did not. And so his attitude towards them was to keep them fired up, to keep them motivated, to keep them playing better at a higher level.
You know, I'm going to actually agree with Browner here that what Jordan did was he was a dick to everybody to try and get them to raise their level. I would agree with that. But I also agree with Alex that this whole documentary is sort of a justification for why I was a dick. Hey, really sorry, BJ Armstrong. Really sorry, Scott Burrell. Hey, I'm really sorry, Steve Kerr. All I was trying to do was just get you guys to raise up to my level. So I understand that he rode his teammates hard, and he was willing to do whatever it took to win.
Yeah. And by the way, he hasn't stopped being an asshole since being a player. Like, he still is who he is. He hasn't talked to Charles Barkley in 8 years because Charles Barkley told the truth about how terrible of an owner he is with Charlotte. Nothing's changed. They still haven't talked in 8 years. There's still that grudge that, what's the point of that? You know, there's no competitive thing there. When you hire your friends to run an organization and you haven't done jack shit the entire time, what's the motivation there? Who's he motivating to be better by being an asshole to Charles Barkley? Nobody.
Well, the other thing is there's, you know, John, you're saying that like people now are watching this and they're saying, you know, they're having a hard time like understanding when someone would be that motivated, would be that hard on their teammates, would be that much of an asshole and would do anything it took to win. You know, I see that in between these shows, they start to show other promotions. Like they've got a 30 for 30, I think, coming out with Lance Armstrong. You know, Lance Armstrong is probably sitting there watching Michael Jordan going, I get everything that's going on here. Because Lance Armstrong is another kind of guy that would honestly run over his child to win a race. You know what I'm saying? Like he just was so singularly focused. And it was like, wait, what do I have to do? Take this, put it here, take that, put it there, put more blood into my body, and then lie like a mother and blame it on everybody else while I'm the golden boy and everybody loves me. It was one of those I'll kill you to win kind of mentalities.
I will not only cheat, I will be the best at cheating that they could possibly be.
Right. And Jordan had that same kind of mentality. And now it's his chance to justify it for everybody, which is what's so interesting about the film.
And it's so damn entertaining too. I love every single moment of this. Like I don't care about who is the final cut. It is a solidly well done, executed documentary. Like it has everything you want because everybody that he's trashing really had a voice in the documentary. Almost everybody. So like they're having their chance to speak too. Steve Kerr looked great. Steve Kerr looked awesome. He's the one that got punched in the eye.
Yeah.
I think the documentary has given everyone a chance to speak, and I think that's the fairness in it.
Except Clyde Drexler.
Horace Grant is the only person who, according to Horace Grant, has had things cut out that he said directly about Michael Jordan that they just didn't use.